Good morning, magandang umaga po. Ito ang programang Bawal ang Pikon. Get it straight with Daniel Razon. Nagpunta po ang pinuno ng Commission on Human Rights sa Mamasapan o Maguindanao upang alamin ang kalagayan ng ating mga kababayan doon. Ito po ay matapos yung madugong engkwentro na kumitil sa maraming buhay. Ano kaya ang kanyang napag-alaman? Let's welcome back to the program, Chairperson Eta Rosales. Ma'am, good morning po.
Good morning.
Welcome back, ma'am. Have a seat, please. Have a seat. And na-miss ka na namin, matagal-tagal na.
Mahaba-haba na, no?
Oh, welcome back. And let's get it straight. So, ngayon ay nandiyan ka na kasi nahanap ka kagad nila nung nasan si Chairperson Eta? Bakit parang tahimik right after nung insidente sa Mamasapan? No? But you went there. Ano ho ang senaryo? Anong inyong napag-alaman po doon sa mismong lugar sa Mamasapan? No?
Marami-rami. Of course, ocular pa lang naman yan. No?
Okay.
Ocular inspection, ocular visitation. Kasi titingnan, we wanted to go to the field muna para makita anong itsura, ganun lang.
Yeah.
Physical lang. Kasi iba pa yung pagkatapos mag-i-incon na. Quiet investigation work na, which is...
Was this exactly where the place
yeah,
na nangyari
syempre,
po? Yung mismong kung saan napatay yung mga tao?
Tukanalipaw, barangay. Tuka, barangay.
Humingi ka
barangay
naman
na
ng
yan.
clearance sa MILF na pupunta ka doon.
Hindi ko nga, hinahanap ko nga yung MILF eh. Wala naman akong clearance na nabigay, pero wala naman.
Buti nakalabas ka.
BIFF pa nga yung teritoryong nandun sa... Kasi yung Sheriff Aguac, sabi nila, BIFF yun.
Sino kasama mong nagpunta doon?
Di yung buong kwan. andun si Governor Mujib, at saka yung kanyang executive secretary, andun yung mayor ng Masapano, no? Andun siya, andun yung mga pulis, andun yung militar.
Wala ba kayong nilabag na protocol doon?
Doon naglakad kami sa traditional route ng daan ng mga magsasaka.
Oo.
Ganun lang yun, tapos sabi ko, tapos ang ganda-ganda ng, siyempre, wala kaming air pollution, no? Walang alikabok, walang ingay ng mga sasakyan. Ang naririnig lang namin, mga ibon. Napakaganda naman itong lugar na ito, napakatahimik. Except that, yun na nga, kaya ako nga sinasabing, when two elephants fight, it is the grass that suffers. Kasi tahimik yung lugar, pero pag nagputo ka na gano'n, bulabog lahat-lahat sila.
Pero hindi po ba ang usapan dyan you don't just simply go there. But, lalo na kung marami kayo or what, meron ganyan, you have to ask for a clearance. Di ba meron ganon? So,
meron naman.
nag-clearance kayo?
Of course.
Okay.
May clearance kasi ang tinatawag na CCCH,
Okay.
di ba, yung Committee for the Cessation of Hostilities, nandun si MILF, nandun si government.
Yes. Oo.
Yan ang kwan. Pinag-usapan niya ng gusto.
Pero ano bang papapilin ninyo ngayon dito? Except of course, alam naman natin lagi doon kayo sa karapatang pantao no? Whether yan yung mga napatay sa kabilang side, whether yan yung dito sa side ng gobyerno, kasi in general yan, wala naman kayong titignan dyan. But what would be the very significant role of the CHR now, especially maraming usapin na pumapasok, na labag sa protocol, na bypass ng mga official, or things to that effect, di ba? And even the extent of parang being slapped by a contempt if in case mapatunayan daw di umano na talagang General Purisima was on top of this operation. Ano bang extent ng inyong magiging role dito, ma'am?
Yung mahalagang usapin. Yung mandato natin. Constitutional mandate namin. Na, di ba, because of the dictatorship, because of 14 years of atrocities, human rights violations under Marcos, they set up the Human Rights Commission. Ito ang isang mechanism para harapin yung napakalaking kasalanan sa bayan, sa taong bayan. So, yun yung trabaho namin, yun yung mandato namin. Basta merong violations of the right to life, no, ng mga tao at saka yung mga human right atrocities committed, dapat nandun kami kaagad
Pero
para mag-imbestiga.
Pero paano yung mapapasailalim sa kapangyarihan at sa karapatan ninyo yung MILF?
Tingnan natin. Tingnan natin. Kasi ang mahalaga, hindi ipapailalim kung hindi makausap, di ba? Kasi ang mahalaga kasi, ang pupunta kami ron, ang lens namin, perspektiba namin, yung karapatang pantao, tsaka yung IHL, International Humanitarian Law. Ngayon, yun yung Geneva Agreements.
Okay.
Ngayon, yung Geneva Agreements na yan has already been domesticated into statute, and this is Republic Act 9851. So yung mga yan, may guidelines yan, engagements, rules of engagement sa internal armed conflict na yung naganap. Halimbawa, pagka enkwentro yan, no? Pag nagbari lang kayo, you don't mutilate.
So you're saying that this is something that should have been observed din ng nasa kampo ng MILF.
Oh yeah, they're both parties to the agreement.
Pareho naman yun, di ba?
Standards kasi yan eh. May kwan sila, meron silang kasunduan, di ba? Kaya nga tinayo yung International Monitoring Team at saka tinayo yung CCCH, yung konseho nila na kinakatawan yung MILF, kinakatawan yung gobyerno, at meron silang rules of engagement yan. Meron silang procedures in accordance with international standards, national standards, no, both on human rights and international humanitarian law. Yun yung amin. Yun yung framework namin.
Pero may kausap ba kayo sa side ng MILF that they are actually respecting this?
Definitely through the CCCH. Yeah? Yun yung Committee for the Cessation of Hostilities, nariyan ng MILF.
So you had an initial talks with them?
Well, they were with us. Sila yung gumabay sa amin,
Papunta
sa pagpunta
doon.
namin. Kaya may permit
Pero
kami.
initially, di ba, nakita naman natin kung ano yung mga nangyari. Meron na tayong mga footage. Meron ding, the reality is yung mga gamit, pinapanawagan pa nga ng PNP, soli nyo sa amin, and even the personal effects noong mga SAF members doon. Doon ba sa biglang tingin pa lang na gano'n, hindi nyo kayang sabihin na there was a violation?
Of course, there were violations.
So ito ngayon pinag-usapan sino?
Sino, papaano, ano, ganun yon. In other words, dapat evidence-based pag nagsalita ka.
Yes,
So you have to gather the evidence. Kailangan may mga affidavits yan. Tapos ano ba yung limitations? Kailangan may autopsy report yan. Diba kasi sinabi mutilated yung bodies.
Yes,
Ngayon, nagtatanong,
how was it mutilated?
how was it? Ito ba ay usapin na lumapit at tapos pinutol yung mga arms nila at saka yung gano'n, at pinagbababaril? O ito ba usapin na high-powered yung ginamit
naputol.
from a distance? Kaya pag isang baril na gano'n, wasak yung katawan. So yun yung mga bagay na hahanapin mo. So you really have to look at the autopsy reports. You need the Philippine Statistics Authority dito for the death certificates. Ito na yung mga technical, na nitty-gritty. Pero dapat evidence-based at masinop yung pagkukuhan. And this quiet investigation should be done. Kaya ang CHR ngayon, after that ocular visit of ours, bumabalik na ron, gumawa kami ng workshop, Plinano namin yung buong plan of action para dito sa investigation na ito. At from then, quietly, pupunta na sila ron and for information and evidence gathering.
Okay.
Quiet work na yan.
So let's summarize. Ano ang mga tanong na gustong masagot ng CHR for you to come up with a full recommendation? Ano-ano yan?
Siguro in terms of figures mo na.
Okay.
Ano ang mga biktima? Ilan ng mga biktima? Sino yung mga biktima? Ano yung kalagayan nila ngayon? Yung mga biktima, yung mga namatay,
and yung survive.
At yung mga nabuhay.
Okay.
Sa bawat panig. So far, yung sa ocular namin, nakita namin, 44 yung
sa SAF.
SAF, sa SAF. 18 yung MILF.
What's your basis of the 18?
From the MILF camp mismo.
So it was
meron na
the
silang
account
report.
of the MILF, okay?
Through the CCCH.
So it was already
meron ng
transmitted
ganyan.
sa inyo.
That was transmitted sa armed government. I had a meeting with the armed government. Tapos sinubmit ng armed government. Ito yung mga so far facts and figures.
Okay.
So ayun. Then Department of Health, no, doon binigay na yung figures ng mga sugatan na nandoon sa hospital and so on. No? So yan, facts and figures muna yung sa ocular. Tapos doon napunta kami sa field and tumawid kami doon sa kabila kasi actually we passed by yung teritoryo na dinaanan namin yan sa Sheriff, Aguac Sheriff, no? Tsaka yung doon, MILF territory na yung mga yun No? But because we had this permit naman, maayos naman siya. So lumakad lamang kaming gano'n. Tapos, from there, tumawid na kami doon sa ilog para pumunta doon sa area kung nasan yung mga SAF.
Okay.
Andun yung mga cornfields. Tapos, yung mayor at saka lahat sila, nagpunta kami doon sa mga puno kung saan nandun yung mga slugs paramang doon sa mga bullet holes. Tapos yung area na nagtago yung mga SAF police troopers kasi nakuha na sila Tuloy-tuloy na yung pagbabaril. They were pinned down. Tapos tumalon sila sa ilog. Tapos yung area doon sa across the river kung saan binaril sila. They were trapped against the mga ganyan. So pinakita lahat itong mga areas na ito. Then I went to the fields where andun pa yung mga remains ng mga clothing nila, tsaka yung vest nila, mga bits and pieces of this. So, all of this we gathered as first part of the evidence na
So that's one, yung figures and
all that.
So what else? What else?
Well,
among others.
Yun na muna yung namin. Then, plinano na ngayon namin, we will go into evidence gathering, information and evidence gathering. But the whole point is that you have to go into the autopsy reports, no? Kasi the autopsy, was it properly done? Kasi, how will you find out exactly kung maayos yung autopsy? Then you have to have forensic examination dito. Di ba? Paano ba yung SOCO handling of that situation? Nung pauwi na ako, nakamotor ako, sinakay ako sa motor, yung nagdra-drive sa akin, taga-Libutan. Yung Libutan is a barangay doon. He was the first kagawad. Tapos, kinikwento niya sa akin, Sunday at Sunday pa lang, pagkatapos nung barilan, nakatakot-takot, the people fled. Takot na takot sila. So, they went to the neighboring barangays, including his. So, yung mayor, tinawag sila, at sila yung nag-retrieve ng mga bodies. So, the neighboring barangays, ang tinawag ni mayor para pumunta doon sa area na yon, talagang sitting duck ka kasi open fields yun Di ba? Open fields at saka yung cornfields baba lang naman. Wasak-wasak na yung mga cornfields na yon. So, pagpunta ko doon, sabi nila, we retrieve the body. 25 pa lang ng Sunday, no? 25 January, they already had about 7 bodies that they retrieved. So, gano'n niya, unti-unti up to the wee hours of the morning and then Monday. So, mararamdaman mo yung residents of the neighboring, the communities ang tumulong sa pagre-retrieve ng mga bodies dun sa local government. No? So, sabi ko sa kanya, would you be willing na pagka babalik kami siyempre dito, kakausapin namin kayo, lahat yung mga residents, pupuntahan namin.
Nasaksiyan ninyo?
Oo. Then sabi nila, ano yung nasaksiyan ninyo? And then sabi nila, sige.
So, anong timetable ninyo dito?
Well, I am going to step down in May.
Yeah, that's correct. May of this year, di ba? 2015.
Exactly. So we better finish before that time. So they're given about 3 months, at least end of March. Nag-workshop kami, tinignan na.
Is there a possibility of you being extended or talagang cut na yun pagdating ng May?
Well, constitutionally, supposedly, I only serve the unexpired term of the former chair, Laila, as a CHR. So, yun yung itsura. So, I don't make assumptions.
So, ito ngayon, ang gusto ninyo mabuo before you step down.
Yeah.
At you want to come up with a recommendation for this one.
Yes.
And your recommendation will, of course, be submitted to the Ombudsman and saan pa ba? sa
Department of
international-
Justice.
international-
And even to Congress for possible legislation or changes in policy and so on. Kasi, as I said, when I was talking doon, and I was talking to the residents, wala akong labels kung MI ka ba o BIFF. Yung first kagawad ngayon, nagdadrive para sa akin dun sa libutan. Then later on, I found out na yung libutan para, maraming mga BIF. In other words, it's nebulous. Diba? Understandably, hindi naman sila nag-structure na, diyan ka lang ikaw diyan ka lang Hindi ka na, it's porous.
But what would be the significance of your investigation? Considering na, again, babalik na naman tayo doon sa recommending lang naman kayo, di ba?
No. It's going to be very, very significant.
Okay.
It's significant because you are going to identify precisely rules of procedure that were shortchanged, that were compromised. Because dun sa even procedurally and substantially, dapat titingnan mo yung human rights dimension yan.
Yes,
The first thing that we said dun sa statement namin, there was lack of coordination. They should have gotten in touch with the CCCH, which is what we did. Kaya kami may permit, yung coordinative yung effort, diba? They should have gotten in touch. So, ano yung implication nung hindi nag-get in touch? The loss of lives.
Yes,
That's the right to life is a fundamental human right. Diba?
Parang merong mga pananagutan dito, yung mga nag-utos, yung
Of
mga...
course, yung accountability. Sinong nananagutan dyan? Sinong dapat managutan dyan?
Pero
diba?
there are parallel investigations and parallel...
Well, let them take care of their own. Ang sa amin, hindi immediate, yung kagyat, no? What were the violations? What are the mitigating factors? Ano yung possible remedial measures that you can do right away?
Okay.
Like I visited the survivor, yung 15-year-old, bullet wound dito, binaril siya dun sa left flank niya, tapos yung bala pumutok dun sa loob, so they had to make surgery right away to repair the organs. But the bullet was still inside.
The double action bullet yun.
Siguro, gano'n. I was talking to the Dr. Evaristo Tolentino. He is the head of the Department of Surgery of the Cotabato General Hospital. That's a national hospital. Pero natuwa ako kasi nung pagpunta ko doon, they were all there, the chief nurse, the chief administration officer, they were very good naman. Mabilis, sabi nila, no ma'am, we accept all patients. Wala kaming pinaalis kasi walang mababayan, di ba? I mean, things that we have here in Manila, naririnig natin. Doon, libre lahat. No? There is such a thing as libre. Pagpasok, pasok ka agad, ini-enroll ka agad sa PhilHealth. So, si Alex Padilla naman yan, di ba? Yun. So, lahat yung mga sugatan at saka casualties, binigyan na ng DSWD ng 25,000. Mabilis na kuwan ka agad. Ganun. So there is quick action on the part of government also in responding to yung ganong particular area. I'm talking about the welfare and the assistance. It's not as if it's zero. No? So, yun yung kaya. Tapos, sabi nilang ganon, dun sa ospital, and then, libre yan hanggang magamot siya. So, at CHR ngayon comes in to ensure na totoong ginagawa. Kasi yung
so,
tapos
parang meron din mga doubt minsan na baka pinapatay, hindi ginagamot.
Hindi naman siguro dun sa ospital na yun. No? Pero ibig sabihin, yung by sheer negligence, hindi ba?
Yes.
Pero sila, that you have to dapat may compliance dun sa basic services naman.
So that's part of...
so that's part of it. That's one part of it.
Binabantayan nyo.
Babantayan namin. What about the, yung tinatawag na displaced persons, internally displaced persons? There were 1,325 families that were displaced.
Because of this incident?
Because of this incident. Just because of this. What does that mean? Ano ang human rights implication yan? Pag displaced ka sa kanila, lilipat sila sa mga ibang barangay. Ang human rights implication yan, si mga anak, hindi na pwedeng mag-eskwelahan, hindi na punta sa eskwela, di ba? Tapos, yung fields nila, dahil nabaril, nasira, hindi sila pwede magtrabaho. The right to work, the right to livelihood, the right to hanap buhay. Mga practical na mga karapatan ganyan.
So to that extent.
Oo, so titignan mo ngayon yung karapatan na yun. So, ang papag-aralan mo, paano manonormalize ang buhay nitong mga displaced families na ito.
So sa kanya, sa kabuuan yon.
Sa kabuuan.
Pero dun sa mga investigation na ginagawa ng ibang mga bodies, for certain, you will not be getting anything from them. You will be doing your thing independently.
Yeah. And then we have actually...
Kasi baka mamaya mag-compare notes kayo, parang ano.
No. Actually, no. SOP ito, that we've been doing this. Meron kami yung, I've told you this already, meron kaming, our mandate says we can request from government agencies, resources that we will need, documents that we will need, which we have been doing. And I've spoke to the PNP, I spoke to the AFP, human rights chiefs, yung mga heads. At sabi nga ni Colonel Motril, yung chief nun, ma'am, don't worry, any document you want, we will cooperate. The AFP will cooperate with you. Ganon din sa PNP, ma'am, don't worry, we will cooperate with you. So, malusog. Malusog yung relasyon namin sa isa't isa sa ganung usapin. Tapos yung NBI naman, nag-utos na si DOJ, di ba? So, yung NBI doon sa region namin, kinakausap na si CHR. Kung ba, pwede ba kayong tumulong? Na, yung ganon. There is a level of, kasi we have been doing this, but independent ang investigation na ginagawa namin, and we will come up with an independent report without being adversarial sa isa't isa. At dapat naman kasi ganun yun.
Pero lagi ang hinahanap na kagaya nitong nakaraan. I was like talking to some of the members nung Magdalo. Sinasabi nga nila, we really wanted to hear a strong condemnation from the government with what happened. Anong level of condemnation ninyo dito sa CHR?
Condemnation of yung atrocities that were committed that brought about the unfortunate tragedy of lives lost. Mga bata na highly trained, young officers natin ng police forces. So condemnation of that event that had happened. So that actually traces us to bakit nangyari ito? Nasaan ang accountability dito? Nasaan ang pagkukulang dito? Yun yung iti-trace mo rin, no? So yun yung procedural aspect ng...
But does your investigation go up to the level of the President? Before you answer that, we'll pause for a break.